America is celebrating its 250th anniversary, and we're taking you into Boston and we're walking the Freedom Trail. Join us for some hidden gems and tips. My hubby and I got up early this spring morning and headed out around 9 o'clock, gassed up and headed into the city, which is about 30 miles from our home. And our first stop is Bunker Hill. Now, we're going to do the Freedom Trail a little bit differently. We're basically going to do it backwards. So here's the deal. The Freedom Trail features 16 official historic stops along a 2.5-mile red line path through Boston. The route takes you through centuries of American history, spanning from Boston Common to the Bunker Hill Monument in Charlestown. We parked for free right at the base of the monument, and it was a quiet day, but you have to know it's in a neighborhood, so parking could be tricky to find. This is where one of the first major battles of the American Revolution took place, and standing here, you can really feel that sense of history all around you. You can see here the red brick path and the signs showing you the Freedom Trail. You can climb the 294 steps, a spiral staircase, all the way to the top of the monument. There are no elevators, and it's very tight and small inside. Also, they only allow in about 20 people at a time. But you should check the days and times because they're not open all of the time, and seasonally they adjust their hours as well. At the base of the hill, the Bunker Hill Museum is a small museum with displays exploring the American Revolution and the founding of Charlestown. It's time to leave the 221-foot granite obelisk behind, and from here we head down to the waterfront to see the USS Constitution, also known as the Old Ironsides. Launched in 1797, she's the oldest commissioned warship still afloat in the world. That's pretty cool. But right here in Boston, she protected American merchant ships and became famous during the War of 1812, when British cannonballs seemed to bounce right off her strong oak hull, earning her that iconic nickname. Boarding the USS Constitution is entirely free of charge. The vessel is open to the public on a first-come, first-served basis, with crew members conducting tours throughout the day. Ahead is the visitor center. You have to go through security to get into this building, but they offer a theater with a little movie, tons of little artifacts. It's a great place to walk around. There's a tiny gift shop. You can get a free map of the whole Freedom Trail, which we used the whole time. Then you would exit right onto the platform where you'd pick up the tour of the ship. Just across the way is the USS Constitution Museum. The entry fee is donation-based, so you give what you can. And we just popped in to check out the gift shop, and I picked up some supplies from my junk journal. Now, outside, we thought it was very cool to stop and take a peek at the dry dock area where they put the Constitution when they have to work on her. Time to move on. We parked nearby, a couple blocks away for free, but we want to drive over the bridge and park in the north end. Also known as Little Italy, we will be eating in this area tonight. So we will Uber from Boston Common back to the north end. Our next stop, officially on the Freedom Trail, is Copp's Hill Burying Ground. It was established in 1659. The historic cemetery overlooks Boston Harbor, and it served as a British outlook during the Revolution. Just across the street sits Boston's famous Skinny House, an unusually narrow home built after a family dispute and considered one of the skinniest houses in the city. I thought it would be a little hidden gem, something to look for. So just steps from Copp's Burial Ground is the Old North Church. You can see its white steeple here. We're going to see Paul Revere's statue just around the corner, and then Paul Revere's house, all still in the north end of Boston. Paul Revere was a Boston silversmith and a patriot best known for his midnight ride on April 18th of 1775, warning that British troops were advancing towards Lexington and Concord. Before his ride 2 lanterns were hung in the steeple of the Old North Church to signal that the British were crossing Boston Harbor by sea, inspiring the famous phrase, "One if by land, two if by sea." The Paul Revere House was built around 1680. Looks a little bit out of place in a modern city, but it provides a rare, tangible look into the everyday life of a colonial American family, and it only costs $6 to go inside. So if you love American history, sure, it's worth it. Here's a little tidbit. The North Square Stories are a public art little sculpture area right across the street from the Paul Revere House. It's pretty cool to check out. Okay, so this took up half of our morning, and we're approaching lunchtime, so it's the perfect time to go to Quincy Market. First up is our tribute statue to Samuel Adams, and just across the way is his tap room for his famous Samuel Adams brews. But we had to stop at Quincy Market, the historic food mall at Boston's Faneuil Hall marketplace. It opened in 1826 and remains one of the city's most popular spots for local food, shopping, and people watching. Here's the famous Faneuil Hall corridor filled with vendors. Everything you can imagine to eat. Boston chowder and Regina's pizza, which we actually got because as we were walking through the North End, the original Regina pizza was open. The line was around the corner and it smelled so delicious that we just knew when we got to Faneuil Hall, we were going to hit up their little booth. Their pizza is fantastic. You have to try it if you come here, although there are so many other choices. Maybe just grab a quick slice. So this place gets packed at lunchtime. A little tip is head towards the center of the building and go up the stairs. There's a few more seats up there, maybe some people might not know about, and it's right under the dome, which is cool to take a look at. Before we headed on the Freedom Trail, we made a quick stop at the restroom. They're located all the way down at the bottom of the building. You have to go all the way down the stairs, just so you know. Okay, so we have 11 stops left on the Freedom Trail. So next up is the Old State House, which was built in 1713. This is one of the oldest public buildings in the United States. Now don't miss your next stop. You literally just look down and there's a plaque commemorating where the Boston Massacre took place just outside this building in 1770. We stepped inside the building to get a video clip of this beautiful circular staircase, but you can buy tickets to tour the whole building for around $18. Also, if you check the website, there are combo tickets available at different price points. And now we're off to our next stop. Here's the Old Corner Bookstore. So this one would be just a quick picture because it's now a Chipotle. But the building is cool, and I'm going to take you to a bookstore around the corner called the Commonwealth. While we look around in the Commonwealth vibey shop, I'll mention that the original Old Corner Bookstore was once a gathering place for famous American authors and publishers. This charming brick building dated back to 1718. Writers like Nathaniel Hawthorne and Henry Wadsworth Longfellow were connected to this literary landmark. Next up is the Old South Meeting House. More than 5,000 colonists gathered in 1773 before heading to the Boston Tea Party. It became one of the most important meeting places leading up to the Revolution. Next, we'll trek over to the Boston Latin School site. The school was founded in 1635 and is the oldest public school in America, even older than Harvard. Famous students, including Benjamin Franklin, Samuel Adams, and John Hancock, attended. Here we spy a tour guide dressed in Revolutionary gear, and just behind us, the trolley was going by, which is another tour option you can take. We have a couple of stops together here. We have King's Chapel, and just to the side of it is the Granary Burying Ground. Now, this historic cemetery is the final resting place of notable Revolutionary figures, including Paul Revere, Samuel Adams, and John Hancock. Its weathered gravestones create one of the most atmospheric stops on the trail. We spent a little time here looking around. Okay, with 3 official stops left to go, we're going to walk past Park Street Church. This church was built in 1809, and it's known for its striking 217-foot white steeple that once dominated the Boston skyline. Quick side note and tip, the best tour in Boston are these duck boats. They're amphibious vehicles that go into the water. We'll cross into Boston Common and check out the Massachusetts State House. The State House was completed in 1798. It's famous for its gleaming 23-karat gold dome overlooking Beacon Hill. It remains the seat of Massachusetts government today. Okay, you can make a game out of looking for these duck boats throughout the city. A quick selfie, and then we're heading in to the park down this big hill and exploring. Check it out. When mid-afternoon leaves you weary, where else do you go? Where everyone knows your name, of course. Okay, that's a reference to the 1980s TV series, Cheers. I had yet to go to this place in Boston, so it's on the bucket list, and I could use a beer. So we popped in, checked it out, took some photos, before we Ubered over to the North End for dinner. Check it out inside. Any of you out there remember this TV series? If you do, make a note in the comments. It cost about $17 to Uber from Boston Common back to the North End, close to where we parked. We ended up at the Ristorante Villa Francesca. It was a bit early and we had the whole restaurant to ourselves. It's conveniently located just off of the main road, Hanover Street, on Richmond Street. As we relaxed and dined, we talked about where we were going for dessert, and I do have to say the food here was delicious. Okay, so the most famous is Mike's Pastry, so we decided to go in and get, of course, cannolis. We took them home though, because we were still pretty full from dinner, but overall it was an amazing day. Thank you so much for spending the day with me, walking through a little piece of history here in Boston. These are the kind of days I just love, simple, meaningful, and full of small moments. It sure was a busy one. So, until the next time, stay cozy, my friends.